episode of Functionally Autoimmune. I'm so happy to have you here with me again today. And with me, I have a special guest. I have co-founder Beau Berman of Layer Origin. This is a company that is pretty new, located in New York City. Hi, Beau. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, Brandy?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, my pleasure to be here.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Beau, and a little bit about Layer Origin.
Yeah, so we are in New York. We are a little bit outside of New York City. We're up in Ithaca, New York, but maybe that's a good thing with the pandemic and everything. But
Sure.
we are in the state of New York, and yeah, we are. Our company is founded by myself and two scientists who met when they were at Cornell. And I got involved recently. My background was initially more in marketing, and I was actually a television news reporter for 11 years. But I'm involved in the marketing arm of it and promotion. And our founders are scientists, and I love that about our company because it's based on research and actual and science, which sometimes you don't find that with nutritional products. So yeah, that's kind of how we got started with Layer Origin.
Awesome. It sounds fantastic. I am super supportive of science. My listeners know that I research the heck out of pretty much everything. So that is amazing and awesome to hear. So I understand that you guys have a fairly new product that is called an HMO prebiotic. Can you explain a little bit about that and what does that mean exactly, HMO?
Yeah, absolutely. HMO, that acronym was probably most commonly known as like a health insurance plan back in the 1990s. You could get an HMO or a PPO type of thing, but actually, in the scientific world, what that stands for is human milk oligosaccharide. And so, prebiotic, I assume some of your listeners have heard of that. Maybe some haven't. 10, 15 years ago, there's probably quite a few people who hadn't heard of probiotics. And now they're pretty much ubiquitous, on every corner inside of a Walgreens, a CVS, or a Rite Aid pharmacy, in terms of the name brands, and then also inside all sorts of specialty stores and plenty online as well. So prebiotics are different but similar. And so essentially, HMO prebiotic is a very, very unique product that is different from all the other previous prebiotics that people may have heard of. They're on the market. I don't know if some of your listeners might be familiar with Ben Greenfield, who is pretty big in the fitness and nutrition podcasting. He's an author, but he recently talked about HMO in his podcast. But basically, so it brings us into infants. And so the survival advantage of breastfed infants over non-breastfed infants has been known for a long time. There is some debate over this, so it's not 100% clear cut, but it's long believed there's certainly some advantages. And so essentially the stool bacteria composition of breastfed infants was reported to be different from that of formula-fed infants, and scientists didn't know exactly why. Later on, it was identified that the presence of an unidentified carbohydrate fraction was also reported in human breast milk, and that is HMO, that previously unidentified carbohydrate. And again, human milk oligosaccharides, HMOs, they're present in great quantities in human breast milk. The third largest element after lipids and lactose are these HMOs. And it's a group of carbohydrates or complex sugars, and it's essentially remained a mystery for a long time. But in recent years, it's been revealed that there can be benefits for adults, and so that's kind of like enter our product. And so someone who really wanted to get HMOs before our product would pretty much have to like go on Amazon or something and literally order infant formula and drink that, and it would actually, if you, in terms of the HMO component, it would be really good for you. The problem is it has a bunch of things in it that aren't, really going to be beneficial to an adult, and there's sugar in it, and things that aren't going to help you. So it wouldn't really make sense, but that would have been, pretty much the only way to get it if it hasn't been extracted out, which we've done. So yeah, there's benefits for adults, and this goes from your head down to the gut. basically the powder has a dual effect, both encouraging the growth of good bacteria while warding off the bad bacteria, and it can aid in fighting infections and inflammation at the same time. It can also provide a component that helps somewhat with brain cognition. So that's our product, pure HMO prebiotic.
That sounds really amazing, and I really like all of the science behind it. And it sounds like a lot of work went into finding out what benefits come from the milk, and why these infants are being, some are doing so well and some are having problems, and working that all the way out to being something that adults can use. That's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's something that a lot of people might be unfamiliar with, in terms of they might have heard bits and pieces of oh, is breast milk better, or formula, and there's some debate over that. But what has been found is there are certain advantages, at least, of breast milk. And so to be clear, our product does not actually have human milk in it, so it's a little bit I don't want to say misleading, but the name is accurate. It's human milk oligosaccharides, but what we've done is been able to replicate exactly the components that would be in HMO in human milk. And so ours is achieved through a very intense fermentation and purification process. And so basically, we believe our pure HMO is the purest in the entire world. We're higher than 98% purity. There's some competitors that might be, at 93 or 94. And through our suppliers, we work with suppliers like BASF Nutrition, leading supplier in the world. And so if it's less than 98, we don't accept that. That's turned away. So it's sort of like almost like a custom blend, if you will. But yeah, I mean, it's basically something that's able to be extracted and produced through purification and fermentation to replicate all of the benefits that you would have in something coming from human milk.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I know some people out there are probably thinking, where do they get this milk from? Like who is this person? Where is this coming from? And I'm sure that there are concerns of that, when people hear that it comes from breast milk, right? People wonder where it's sourced from. So I'm glad that you cleared that up, and that's amazing that it can be synthetically kind of made so that it doesn't have to come from a person, but it's the same benefits. That's really great.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said before, I mean, I think it's one of those things, right, where 10, 15, 20 years ago, nobody that I know of was talking about probiotics. But now that's a household word. And I firmly believe that, probably about 6 months to a year from now, maybe sooner, that you will hear a lot more about prebiotics and a lot more about this our ingredient HMO.
Oh, that's amazing.
I think it's gonna become, start to become a household thing. And so I feel like we're kind of at the forefront of that, at least in terms of being able to put it into an affordable product that people can take every day as a dietary supplement. And basically, if you want to support your immune system, if you want to support your microbiome, your gut health, basically the key component of our HMO product is something called 2-fucosilactose. And so again, like I said, this is 100% identical to the HMO in human milk. And you think about infants, and at the time that they're growing at that point, they're basically, building a robust gut environment, and their immune system is all in development. And so again, that goes back to, the research has shown that the HMO in this, the 2-fucosilactose is what's a key component in building that up.
Yeah, that's amazing. So if someone had, because I have a lot of listeners that, obviously we have autoimmune conditions and chronic illness and things like that. So gut health is a huge component of that, especially these days. We're finding that your gut microbiome and your gut health are so involved in chronic illness. So a lot of my listeners are very concerned about gut health and ways to keep that healthy. So if they were, on the fence of, do I take this probiotic or this one? And, there's so many options, and how do I know what to take? Other than the HMOs, which is amazing, what does your probiotic have that stands out? What would you say, like, this is why you need to take this one over Joe Schmo probiotic? Prebiotic, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is the next time you go to the store, and listeners, look on the shelf wherever you buy your probiotic, or look on the website of the company you buy it from if you buy it online, and look to see if they offer anything that's a prebiotic versus a probiotic. So that's the first difference there, is that our Pure HMO is a prebiotic, so it is a little bit different in the way that it is affecting your microbiome, affecting your gut. And so that's a key distinction right there. So you can still take a probiotic with this, um, but it is a different product. Just to be clear. Now, in terms of why would what would be the best thing to take? Obviously that's a personal decision, and obviously we're certainly biased here in that we think our
Sure.
product is truly really excellent. We're a startup. Our founders, in terms on the science side, met, like I said, at Cornell University in a lab, literally. And so, one has a PhD in food science from Cornell. One has a PhD in food science from the University of Missouri. And that's Jason. And when Jason was at Cornell doing his postdoctoral work, that's where he met Joel. And that's where they came up with the idea for this product. And so basically, there's a lengthy scientific explanation for why we think our prebiotic is the best thing you should take for your gut health, and I can get into that a little bit, which Jason has kind of handed me a little bit of the scientific background on that, because that is certainly not my forte, if you can't tell by now, but essentially, basically when you take an HMO prebiotic, because of a lack of glycoside hydrolysis. See, there you go. I'm already kind of losing myself here.
It's all these big words.
Intestinal membrane transporters, HMOs, are not digested in the upper part of the gastrointestinal tract. So as a consequence, a majority of HMOs reach the colon, where they serve as a food for specific microbes, which is influencing both the composition and activity of your gut microbiota. HMOs are specifically known to influence populations of beneficial microorganisms. So, I could do more, but I won't bore you with that.
Sure.
for me, as not an expert on the science side, which was helpful, is that if you even just go to PubMed, which
Sure.
a lot of times that can just cut through the noise, and just go to actual research and just type in human milk oligosaccharides, or type in HMO, or even just Google Ben Greenfield HMOs, and it'll come up. And he has all the hyperlinks in there that links to the most recent research on this. So, we're certainly not shilling a product here that isn't research based, and not some sort of snake oil, if you will.
Sure. No, that sounds amazing. And it is difficult when there's so many big words. And I think that's what's difficult for consumers sometimes is, they go to a shelf or they look up a product and there's all these big words that they don't understand. And so oftentimes it's difficult to understand, what exactly am I getting here? So yeah, the science can be difficult if you don't know that. But this really sounds amazing. Is there anybody out there who should not take this product that you're thinking, okay, you might not want to take this if? Is there anybody like that?
It's our product. Pure HMO is designed for adults to take. Anybody with a medical condition beyond the sort of norm should certainly consult with their physician before taking it. It's not a drug, so it's not prescribed to treat any, as you always hear in that disclaimer, not guaranteed to treat any disease or illness, that sort of thing. But I can say that a lot of our customers have reported seeing improvement of calmness in their gut in about a week's time of taking this. So it's pretty powerful. But again, I would advise anybody to talk to their doctor. And these days it can be difficult with the pandemic, but even if it's just some places are offering video, telehealth, even if it's that, or even just an email or phone call, but just to consult, because there could be potentially something that your doctor wants you to stay away from, no matter what that is. But in general, yeah, this is a safe product for a healthy adult to take. But we're actually going to be debuting a brand new product very soon. It's essentially the same ingredients. It's going to be in a powder form, which you can scoop the powder into coffee, water, juice, any drink you want. So it makes it. Currently it's in a capsule.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's really exciting. I know a lot of people like to do smoothies or things like that in the morning, so easy way to kind of toss that in and get your prebiotics, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And crazily enough, people of all ages can take it. I mean, if you're not breastfeeding or can't breastfeed, someone listening, I mean, infants can actually take an HMO liquid supplement. The liquid form, it's easier for an infant to ingest. Toddlers can take HMO. We're working on a tablet HMO product with, flavors that would entice a toddler. So, I mean, really, it's something that's that beneficial that we're just going, full steam ahead into producing it, because it's just kind of amazing that it's something that's working that well.
Yeah, that's great, and that's great that you guys have gotten your hands on it and that you're able to come up with all these great products to get out to everyone. It's really amazing. If someone was lactose intolerant, do they have a problem with this product?
No, they don't. Fortunately, there are trace amounts of lactose in it because it is fermented and purified from lactose, but that process knocks out so much of it that you shouldn't have a problem. So, if someone is extremely, worried, they may want to stay away from it, just, from the mental perspective of it. But, and we do put a label on the bottle that mentions that, it is derived from that. But the processes that it goes through brings it to a point where it should not be a problem.
That's great. Yeah, I know that's a question that I get often if I'm talking about a product with clients and it's milk derived or some type of derivative of dairy. A lot of times I get that question as, what if I'm lactose intolerant? And so, being that HMO says milk right in the word, I'm sure that people think, oh, I don't know if that's something that I can have. So that's really good information to have for sure.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad you asked that, because that is a fantastic question, and you certainly don't want people, being wary of something, or unnecessarily. And so, yeah, no, I mean, that's a question we get a lot, and certainly the title is a little bit, concerning to people, but fortunately, the process it goes through, takes it to a point where it's fine.
Yeah, that's fantastic though. But it's good information, because you wouldn't want somebody to miss out on something that would be really beneficial to their gut health just because they were afraid that it might have something that would cause them issues. So that's fantastic information. And so you guys I've been on your website a little bit and kind of dug around and checked things out. Like I said, I'm a researcher too, so. So you guys don't just have this prebiotic; you have other products out there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a full line of products, and it ranges from other things that can help your immune system, which is our pure glucan product. We also have a product called Targeted Immune, and I've always been personally big into any way to help the immune system, and you want to get enough sleep first of all, and drink a lot of water, and exercise helps, right?
Right.
And so, you want to try to do it through whole food primarily, but, we can all use an insurance policy is the way I view it. If I didn't eat that salad that day, instead, had something else, then, and so, I've always looked to, like, in recent years, like elderberry supplements and zinc and echinacea and, whatever I can get my hands on that might give me that little extra boost, because I do personally have had, really struggled, with immune system issues, I think, ever since I had mono when I was in college, about 12, 14 years ago. And I just never bounced back from it. It was kind of crazy. But so I've always looked for something, but the products at Layer Origin are just fantastic. Targeted Immune. It's just what's crazy is I've never been involved or even seen a company that just has so much, like I always have to tell Jason and Joel, are my co-founders, to like dial back, their use of the scientific language, because it's Targeted Immune right on the bottle. It's a natural serine protease inhibitor. And I'm like, guys, no one's gonna know what that is. Like, we have to be careful here, because only scientists are gonna be like, oh wow, that's great, but the average person's gonna say, what is that?
Right.
But, Targeted Immune and Pure Glucan are for the immune system, and then we also have something that's really cool, because I hate to keep bringing it back to myself, but that's how it is. I mean, we all relate to what's personal. And recently I got some blood tests, and they told me that I'm 34, but I had high cholesterol, the bad kind,
Sure,
and
yeah.
so it was very frightening. And I think it runs in the family. I mean, I've run 2 marathons, but it just runs in the family. And so, Layer Origin, we have a product called Brand Pure, which is amazing because it's basically a cholesterol absorber. And so, this is something that we didn't have to do a clinical study on this ourselves because the research has been out there for decades now. And it's almost like, when you go buy Quaker Oats and there's that like little heart symbol on it,
Sure,
that says
yeah.
your heart. So basically, our Brand Pure provides a gram and a half of soluble fiber for every serving, and it will help you reduce your cholesterol. I mean, we're not shy about saying that because that is clinically proven over the years. And basically, it's a high glucan oat brand. And what's cool about ours is that if you go on Amazon or another website and you're looking for something like this, an oat brand that has glucan in it, most of them have 10%, and ours has 28%. So
Wow.
you won't find that anywhere else. And so, to the average person, they're probably like, okay, great, whatever, sure. But if you do your research and you look into this, that's actually pretty rare. So, we're proud of the science behind our products and the advantages that they offer, compared to other things out there. And so, yeah, I'll wrap up. But we also have a blood sugar support product. If you're pre-diabetic, and some other things as well that people should check out.
Yeah, that all sounds really amazing. And I love like I said, I love the science backing. And you sound super passionate about your products, which is always great. When you have co-founders who are very excited about what they have to offer, it's always very exciting. It makes you really excited to want to get out there and try your products. So how do people find you? How do you order? How do you buy things? Where do you go?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's there's 2 easy ways. You can either hop on Amazon, and we're Amazon.com/Layer Origin. It's LAYERORIGIN, Layer Origin. It's actually named after Dr. Peter Layer, who was instrumental in a bunch of research at the Mayo Clinic back in the 1980s that our scientists were inspired by. But it's Amazon.com/Layer Origin. Or if you want to go, and of course, if you have Amazon Prime, you're going to get the product in a day or two.
Sure.
Through Amazon. And if you don't want to go through Amazon, you can go straight to our website, which is layerorigin.com. And first-time customers can get a discount. And actually, listeners of your show, if they use the code 20Autoimmune, can get a 20% discount on their order.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for offering that. They'll be super excited to hear that. I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to, have new people try out the product and see what they think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your amazing products and sharing your amazing product offer. Discounts are always fun, especially to get products in people's hands and to get people to start feeling better, and especially when it comes to gut health and immunity. So super excited. Thank you so much for being on the show today and sharing all this information.
Yeah, we're excited as well, and thanks so much for having me.
Okay, thanks a lot. And thank you again for joining Functionally Autoimmune for another episode. Goodbye, everyone.